Welcome to Dragonfly Trading. My name is Carrie, and I'm a full-time Elliott Wave trader in the crypto and Forex markets. Today's video is going to be an update on the SP 500, and we are going to dive into Bitcoin. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just the way that I see the market, and I intend to trade it. If you are interested in learning my system, the link is in the description below for the Discord. I have a plan for everyone, and I hope that you would join us. All right, let's get started. So I broke this up into cycles. Cycles in the way that I see it. Everybody sees it differently, but this is the way that I currently see it. Way back in the beginning of time, in 1872, we climbed higher as we created bearish divergence. Once we made the reset on 30, we climbed straight out of it. The next cycle was exactly the same. We climbed higher as we created bearish divergence till we reset, and then we climbed out of it. We created this first peak. High peak in RSI. Once we created that high peak, we had our first reset, as I call it, because we crashed straight down to 30. After the crash, we climbed straight out. Straight out we go to the next peak. But this peak, we didn't crash. We repeated this cycle where we climbed higher with bearish divergence, creating bullish divergence on the bottom until we reset on 30. And just like the bearish divergence cycle, we climbed straight out of it. So after bearish divergence cycle, what do? We have the big crash and the climb out of it. And what happened? We had the big crash and we climbed out of it. So what would be the next cycle? Well, it should be, if history is going to repeat itself, the bearish divergence cycle, where the market climbs higher as we're setting in bearish divergence. It's already started it. Till we reset on 30. And if history is going to repeat itself, we're going to climb out of it. But what does it mean for the overall count? Well, the highest point on RSI should be our third wave. The only way that this is not the primary third wave is if we set in a higher high in RSI than this one sitting at 98. So we would have to hit 99, 100, something like that to set it in a higher peak. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. But just at first glance, looking at this, I want to label it Wave 1, Wave 2 for the first reset, all of this Wave 3 to the highest peak on RSI, that this was Wave 4 and we're in the middle of Wave 5. Okay. Now is 5 close to done? Does it have a lot more to go? That's the big question. That is definitely the big question. But if the cycles are going to repeat themselves, then we need to create bearish divergence as we climb. And then we need to have a correction that resets on 30. And then we'll slowly climb out of it, which obviously takes years. Okay, years. I am up on the 3-month time frame here. So this is the way I see it. Is this a wave 1 of the 5th? It could be. It could be. Or it could be close to done. Now, when I get in here and I look, and let's do that. When I get in here and I look, I want to call this wave 2. I want to call this 3 and this 4, and that we're going to have a 5. And if you look back, that really looks like the 5th wave. Okay. But is this all a wave 1? I would say could very well be. Okay. But if we're coming to an end here where this is 1, this is 2, all of this is 3, this is 4, and all of this is 5, we'll have a big correction coming. Even if this is all a wave 1, we have a pretty big correction coming that just can't break this low down here. And that's pretty big, guys. That's pretty big. The correction that could be coming. Okay. So it really matters. What are we doing in here? So let's go down to the daily. Let's take a look. Well, the good news is that we didn't start this correction off with 5 waves. We started it off with 3, with an expanded flat. Now, here's the thing. If this is the top, then the 3rd's probably here. The 3rd is probably here. The 4th is probably here. And this is the 5th. Okay, that's possible. But until it proves me wrong, I'm going to call this a 4th. Now, it started off with an expanded flat, which means this box here is what I call a connector, meaning that it's going to connect this leg to the box, and it needs a partner leg. How deep this partner leg's going to come, we don't know until we see what's going to happen in the box. Now, as it stands right now, just looking at it, to me, it looks like this leg needs a partner on the other side. Box could be a little big here. And then we get partner leg. At this point, when we make partner leg, this market has got to make 5 waves. I've talked about it many times how a bear market happens. And how it happens is we fail to produce this 5-wave move. What happens is we make a 3-wave move. Another box. Like this one. And then what happens is we have to connect all of this to the box to the downside. And that's how we end up in a bear market. At this point, the market has a chance to make 5 waves and get us out of here. But if it doesn't, and it makes another box of 3 waves, then we're connecting all of that to the box to the downside. And that's how a bear market happens. So the best thing for the S&P 500 is when it makes this partner leg that it makes 5 waves and continues on its way. Okay. All right. Let's move over to Bitcoin. And I want to talk about something that happened back in the day. Okay. This move we were all thinking was going to happen. It is exactly the same scenario as where we are now. We had a 1 and a 2. We had the big 3. We were all looking for a 4th wave and a 5th to the upside. We had pulled down into the prior 4th, exactly where we are now. And we were riding on a level that we didn't want to break. Same as we are now at 30K. And what I want to talk about is what happened. It's very important to where we are right now, and you will notice what I'm talking about when we get over there. So we had created this correction, and we were in this consolidation area where a lot of people were calling it a triangle, and a lot of people were saying it was a WXY and we were going to go down or we were going to go up. A lot of confusion. Same thing that's going on now. And what happened? We had 3 waves to the upside. The market created 3 to the downside, got everyone short when we broke this level. Because we were cracking it, everyone went short. And it's obvious what happened. We got a big candle to the upside. We created a flat here, an expanded flat. So we broke the level, came down, swept these lows, and rocket shipped up into the air. What actually happened is what we call the expanded B. We made 3 waves to the upside as an A, 3 waves to the downside and swept the lows, okay? Cracked it, got everybody short, and then big candle to the upside came and expanded flat. So why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you? Well, there's a reason. Let's go to where we are now. We have this level right here that we don't want to break. Actually, sort up here, okay? We don't want to break this level. Same exact thing. We've come down, okay? We're in this consolidation. Well, what if this decides to do the same thing? Where it makes a to the upside, B to the downside that breaks the lows, and then gives us a gigantic candle upwards. This can happen. Absolutely, this can happen because this middle can surely make the WXY that I've been talking about. Come on down in there. Can even make an ABC if it wants. Can make a zigzag and come on down in there. Okay, but it's 3 waves, and it comes down in there. And then we get a candle to the upside. So be careful of this count. Does this C wave have to be as big as it was before? No, it could be bearish, or it could be big. But this could definitely happen, crack the level, get everyone short, and rocket ship up into the air. All right? So please be careful of that. If you see us coming down in 3 waves, be careful of it. What would this be if it did it? Well, unfortunately, it would still be the WXY count. Okay? Because this would be X. We'd still have 3 waves to the downside, expanded flat in the middle, and then we would still expect 3 waves or 5 to the downside. Because if this got high enough, we could call this B and not X. Okay? But it would have to get up to the 618. Otherwise, it remains X. Okay? This would still be X. We'd still expect a leg to the downside. All right, so let's talk about what other things can happen here. This is one of the things, and I wanted to warn of it because I can kind of see the writing on the wall. The other one is the triangle that I talked about before. Let's get down a little lower here. We've got 2 options for this triangle. One, the first option is the white triangle, where this is A, this is B, this is C, this is D, and then we get an E. Now, it's a big debate right now about this leg right here. Because that leg, to me, it really looks like 5 waves. So we can call it an ABC or it's 5 waves, okay? So be aware of that, okay? Where's my triangles? Here they are. All right. So white triangle would mean that we are setting an X. This would be an X wave, and we're coming down for those waves for the big W, X, Y. Yellow triangle means that we go to the upside. We use this 3 legs, we use this as a B, and then we go to the up for C. So let's talk about this because it's important. This is the big triangle that we want. If we want to make this triangle the bigger triangle and have the hopes of not breaking this 30K, we have got to hold this triangle trend line here. And you could draw it from back there just to know about where the trend line is. We've got to hold it and push upwards. Because if we don't, we're going to hit this triangle's trend line. And another hit to it would not make any sense at all. It wouldn't be valid. We have got to push up and stay off this triangle's trend line. Either we make triangle and do it as a B wave, or we consolidate more and we don't end up making triangle. Doesn't matter, but we need to push up. We need to push up and we need to stay off this trend line. Otherwise, we're going to lose our potential bigger triangle. The minute we hit this, it's over. Because it's going to invalidate our bigger triangle. And I don't mean to sound like so bearish, but it is what it is. We only have a few options to keep us off that trend line. One is that we do make the triangle and we make the ABC up. Or for some miracle, this is a wave 1. But I'm not really leaning that way, guys. I've been over it before, why I don't feel it's a wave 1. But miracles happen, right? Maybe it is. But that's our only 2 options. That we make the B wave triangle to get up there, or this is a 1. If not, then I see it as the bearish option where this is starting our zigzag to the downside. Okay. Where this leg really is 5 waves. We pulled back for 2 and we're going to go the bearish way. All right. And this would all be our WXY leg, and this is would beginning our big Y. Not such good news, but, you know, there's always a chance. There's always a chance that we are going to make this triangle. Here's the thing, guys. You should be able to draw your triangle if it's a true triangle. Okay. You should be able to draw it in RSI. This is the main thing that tells you you have a triangle. And guess what? We can. And usually, majority of the time, you cannot do this. Even if it's not the other one, if it's this one, we can still draw it. So let's see. We still have a lot of legs to set in. Okay. We're only on D. And D needs to come down here and touch this and not break through into our other trend line and then give us D and E. So we still have a lot of legs to complete before this is going to come true. But let's see. Okay. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.